Today we'll be installing Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in a Nissan Skyline 370GT. This vehicle also has different variations of names, like for example the Infiniti G37 in some regions. We will be using the Nifty City Apple CarPlay and Android Auto kit. You can go to their website, check out their kits and find one for your vehicle. Today I'll be showing you how to install the module, where to pack it and how to operate the system and switch over to it. Let's get started. Our focus will first go to the gear knob shifter. We're going to drop the cover and then remove the pin from behind. Once you've removed the pin, you can go ahead and lift it up just like that. And we're going to then work our way around here just with a dash removal tool. Poke it in there and aim it down. And you can pull this out very easily just on clips, just like that. We're going to go ahead and remove this piece around the transmission with the dash removal tool just from the side and lift up. Just like that. Once you've removed the trim around the transmission, you're going to go ahead and remove 3 total clips. Once you've removed the trim around the transmission, you're then going to go ahead and remove these 2 screws here. Once you've removed the 2 screws, you can then easily grab onto the bottom of the trim of the keypad, slide it out towards you. Go ahead and remove 3 connectors in total. Once you've removed the keypad, you want to then remove the 2 screws underneath the screen trim. Once you've removed the 2 screws underneath the screen trim, you can go ahead and pry this one out as well. Just upwards is fine, just like that. There are no connectors at the back of this one. Go ahead and remove the 2 screws at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and remove the screen and you will expose 2 connectors from behind, an LVDS cable and a 10-pin connector. Once you've removed the 2 screws for the screen, you then want to remove the 2 screws at the bottom of the head unit. They'll be deep in there, so you'll need a long screwdriver. Nifty City usually asks on the website what inputs your car has. The reason being is because of the audio that has to travel from the module back into the car. Usually they just have a sound out coming out of the main harness, and then depending on the adapters you selected that are in your armrest, for example this car has RCA, they'll give you an auxiliary to RCA adapter that you must connect to the main harness. And then these RCAs must go to your armrest. Or if you ordered the custom audio harness, this will keep your installation clean and keep all the work behind the head unit. In this instance, we're going to install this, which also goes behind the head unit. And then from here, you connect the main harness auxiliary. These 2, connect them together, and then all your connections will stay behind the head unit and you don't have to fiddle with anything up here in the armrest. Okay, I've disconnected all the relevant looms from behind the head unit, and I'm going to go ahead and connect the male part of Nifty City into the back of the head unit, and then the OEM connectors must connect to the female part of Nifty City. Then feed down this connection to the module down the dash so we can hide the module back here somewhere. It's best to feed the USB inputs from the module to your glove box, so go ahead and feed it through underneath the vents to your glove box. It is to your personal preference. Some people prefer to reach out the USB inputs to your armrest. It's completely up to you where you decide to hide these. Okay, so just to get you up to date on what I've done so far, I have planned to hide the module down in this corner. These are the USB inputs that will connect to the module. I've fed the wires through the dash and onto the other side out of the glove box. And then what I've done is I've daisy chained the main harness, Nifty City male into OEM head unit, and then OEM connectors into female Nifty City. And then I'll go ahead and feed the other part of the main harness down the dash to bring them out from the side of where the USB inputs are, just so I can then hide the module on the other side, just behind the air vents. If you purchase the custom auxiliary harness or the audio harness that sits behind the head unit so you don't have to go to your armrest, connect both auxiliaries together from the main harness and the custom audio harness that you purchased, then go ahead and feed this down the dash. So I've gone ahead and fed the main harness and the USB inputs down the dash. I've cleaned up the wires back here, so the head unit is ready to put back in its position. We do need to daisy chain with the brown LVDS behind the screen, so let's go ahead and do that. Here's the brown LVDS from Nifty City, which we will daisy chain with the factory loom, female into OEM, and then male into the screen, and then this side will connect to the module. And here we go, so male Nifty City into male OEM, and then male Nifty City into the screen, and I've fed the LVDS down the dash, and it's ended up here with all the other harnesses to connect the module last and then hide behind the vents. Let's go ahead and start putting the screen back, the head unit back, and all the trims. Before you do all that, make sure you test it before fully committing to putting the car back together. I've lazy slapped the car back together, And just to test everything before I fully commit to putting the car back together, to switch over to the system to ensure that it's working, here's your factory system. Go ahead and hold the back button for 2 seconds and you should be able to switch over. You can also use the back button on the dashboard there. It's saying to connect the phone. I'll go ahead and open up Bluetooth and connect to, there we go, it's popped up. And then I'll just give it a few seconds. And it should give me a prompt to use CarPlay. There we go. Test the touchscreen out, make sure it's working, move around with the knobs, and finally test the audio. 2 main important things: display and audio. Test it out. If you don't hear anything, you then need to go ahead and tap auxiliary on the dash. So let's go ahead and find auxiliary. There it is. There we go. Cool. Alright, we can go ahead and safely put the car back together. We've tested everything, make sure it works. Great. You might need to give the head unit a little push in order to get it back onto its frame, and go ahead and put all the screws back together. Put all 4 screws, 2 underneath the head unit. You might need some light and a long screwdriver, and then the 2 above. And we can go ahead and start putting the frames back together. This piece down. So go ahead and do that. Just like that. Put the 2 screws back. Make sure you have 3 plugs coming out here. 2 screws, 1 and 2. Connect all 3 connectors at the back of the keypad and then put that back. Then we'll go ahead and put the transmission trim back on, connecting all 3 connectors. There we go. And then lastly, we'll go ahead and put that trim just like that. The very last piece is putting together the gear shift knob, and now we'll go ahead and pack the module. You just pull down the carpet. All you need to do is go ahead and just tuck the module underneath the vents, keep the wires out of the way of the vents, and you should be good to go. Just to show you that I was able to hide the module, I've hidden it just behind the carpet in this area here, and I've tucked all the wires going up to the dash. And here you are, we're back in the car. It's getting dark out here, the car's back together, and we're good to go. So once you've started up the system, just hold the back button. And there you go. Open up your Bluetooth settings on your iPhone and tap autoplay, and it should automatically connect up. Climate control will come up inside the system. So if I go ahead and just, for example, turn it on, there we go, it's coming over CarPlay. Reverse camera would come up like normal. And you can go ahead and use this knob to move around, or the touchscreen itself. Thanks for watching my video today, guys. I hope this was helpful, and you can get your kit at Nifty City. Here's their details.